MatPat is one of the biggest faces in YouTube, currently hosting 5 different active channels, all of which getting more views than I could even hope to receive. He's even done multiple day-long charity live streams to raise money for sick kids at St. Jude Hospital. He seems like a really nice guy online, and he's never been a part of any big controversies. But there is a vocal minority who hate on him, claiming that he's a terrible person. So do they actually have a point, or are haters just gonna hate? Well, without any further ado, let's dive straight in. Nope, stop. I'm not sure if that's copyrighted. Probably one of the first things you can claim MatPat is doing wrong is stealing theories. He makes 4 theories a week and has been doing so for years, so the idea that he steals 1 or 2 seems plausible. We also know that many theories on his channel have been made before by other people online. Take this video for instance, Moana's true identity revealed. This video is just one of many that people have found similar theories made on Reddit. Many assume that means he must have stolen it, but let's think about it for a second. Let's ask ourselves why MatPat would steal it, and what's the likelihood that he didn't. So first off, what's MatPat's motivation? Well, that seems obvious. Money. His job is to make theories, so if he cannot come up with one, then he's just lost revenue. So stealing one would just get him more money. Now that makes sense, but it raises a few questions. MatPat's done a few videos that he refers to as Morty. No, not that Morty. This Morty. MatPat occasionally reviews theories. Yo, he's used it a few times to discuss other fan theories, and he still gets a ton of views. So if that's the case, then he has little to no reason to just steal the theory to make money, since he can still give credit to the original theorist and still make a profit. However, many of these Morty videos are claiming that fan theories are wrong, so maybe if a theory is correct, then that makes him want to take credit for it. Well, probably not. The most recent DHMIS theory he's made features him discussing a fan theory. A theory he outwardly claims was made by someone else.
Because someone else beat me to the punch. You see, as I was doing research for this episode, I stumbled across a series of videos produced by the channel Rem Games.
And he even promotes their channel since he mentioned their theory. So he likely has no problem giving credit. In fact, giving credit loses him money here, since he says he won't go over details the other theorists did.
He goes into so much more detail about stuff we didn't have the chance to cover today.
If he did go over it, he could have made a part 2 and thus made more money. So by advertising this guy's channel, he's actually losing the possibility of making more money. Now maybe you could say that that's different, because that's a YouTube video, not a Reddit post. And so these theories are even more popular and thus harder to steal. Or maybe he's only giving credit now because of the backlash. Well, if you go back and look at the old Rick and Morty theories, okay, now we're talking about the other Morty. At the beginning of this video, he says that he's going to give more evidence for an already common theory.
I will say that I'm not the first person to think that evil Morty used to be paired up with Rick C-137.
This was 6 years ago, meaning for at least 6 years he hasn't been intentionally stealing content. So our reasons for assuming his motivations have already fallen flat. So let's discuss what else could be the reason. Well, there are 2 ways to come up with a similar theory to another person. You could either subconsciously steal it, or you could just not know it existed. Subconsciously stealing things is quite common and has been brought up by many other YouTubers.
I read a lot of comics, so it's possible I saw them and then repressed them in my memory and drew them again, or it's possible that it's all a coincidence and me and someone else just came up with the same idea. It happens all the time with other cartoonists.
If MatPat, or anyone else who works on the show, sees a theory and then forgets they saw it, they might remember the theory itself later on, but not where they heard it. This would make them obviously assume that they made it up, and thus they'd pitch it to the rest of the team, and thus turn it into a video. Does that sound like a terrible thing? Like that they're trying to steal other people's ideas because they're evil? No, not to me. But there's also another possibility, that they made a theory that already existed all by themselves, not knowing that it already was a theory. Take his Kirby videos for instance. There are some sciencey ones, but there's one video about Kirby's lore. A video that has a part 1, but no part 2. Well, where's part 2? Well, MatPat has actually come out and said that they scrapped part 2 because everyone was saying that they didn't find anything. His theories were already common in the community, so he didn't discover anything. So to avoid rehashing already made theories, he just scrapped the video. This entire thing goes against the entire idea that he would steal theories. I guess you could try to argue against it, saying that he wanted to take credit for the theory, but when everyone in the comments already knew about it, he knew that he couldn't do that. However, that would also be true for the other stolen theories, so why did he even make them? Also, when I watched the video 3 years ago, I didn't know any of it. I didn't know much about Kirby, so I would have thought that he discovered it. Meaning to me, and a lot of other fans, we would have just given him credit. But you're telling me that he didn't want to steal it because he didn't want to get called out, even though most people would have still believed that he made it? But yet he's okay stealing other theories, even though he knows he's gonna get called out for those as well. No, that doesn't make any sense. But if he didn't steal it, then what are the chances that it's so close to other theories? Well, quite high actually. Think back to when Batman Arkham Asylum came out, and all the reviews said that made you feel like Batman. Were they stealing it from each other since they had the exact same sentence in their reviews? No, it's just that they played the exact same game, and anyone who plays the game knows that you feel like Batman. So it's not that they stole it from each other, it's that they both felt the exact same way. Okay, now let's turn that over to theories. Theories aren't made from nothing. They're not fan fiction. You make them when you find a clue or discrepancy within a game, movie, show, or food, I guess. So if you can find these holes and come up with an idea, who's to say that no one else will as well? Like you play a Mario game and you see him stand on Luigi's foot. You may come to the conclusion that Mario is actually a bad person. But then others who also play the exact same game can come to the same conclusion fairly easily. So if you look into it even more, you might find other bad things Mario's done. And then all of a sudden, oh my gosh, you stole MatPat's theory. You just stole it, how dare you? No, you didn't. You just found the exact same evidence that he did. In fact, we see this exact thing happening in GT Live. While MatPat is watching a video on Poly Playtimes, he comes up with a potential plot twist.
Huggy doesn't attack anyone until he himself is attacked, right, and trying to be captured.
Just for a comment that he reads later say the exact same thing.
Kiwi Queen, a very interesting extra detail. Huggy, see? Kiwi Queen and I on the same wavelength here.
So did he look into the future and read the comment? Or did he and the commenter just come up with the same theory at the same time? And if that's the case, then no one stole it from anyone. So not only do we have very little to no motivation for MatPat to actually steal theories, but we also have clear evidence and motivation against it. Is it possible that he stole theories? Sure, a lot of things are possible. But like any good theorist, we have to just throw out ideas when the evidence isn't supporting it. Okay, so there's that debunked. So what other reasons do people have to hate MatPat? Well, here's one. His theories are canon. I find this a terrible critique because, like, what? First off, you may not know they're canon? Like, if you watch a movie and then make a theory on it, just to realize that later it had actually been confirmed by the director before you even made your video and you just didn't know. Does that make you a bad theorist? No, it actually means you're a great theorist. Because you're so good that you're actually able to predict and prove the truth. Which is exactly what theories are meant to be. True. People don't make theories to be wrong. Usually. Also, what's wrong with making videos on the truth? Many channels make videos about true events, even MatPat. He's even ended some videos by saying that they're not even theories. I guess you could say it's bad if it's his entire channel, but it's not. Or I guess you could say it's bad that he says something true and then calls it a theory, but if the worst thing it does is use a word incorrectly, I think he's alright. But what about the opposite of what I said earlier? Theories are meant to be true. MatPat has said that sometimes he doesn't believe his own theories. People do get mad at him though, when he makes theories that are way too out there, or maybe just easily proven wrong. However, something that MatPat's explained in his FNAF videos is that sometimes you have to ignore evidence to make a good theory. Some mysteries in a TV show just can't be solved and they're just impossible. But it's still fun to just try to find a way to explain it, even though it's not true. No, Mario's not insane, but it's fun to look through all the weird things he's done. Again, this isn't that terrible of a thing to hate him for. One thing he did receive some backlash for was his entire Undertale debacle, making an incorrect theory with some fun, interesting connections, and a theory that's not really a theory, but just him giving a symbolic gift to the Pope, and then a video where he cried on camera. This entire thing received hate. First, bad theories are still fun. I've already been over that. And MatPat himself has even gone over why he gave Undertale to the Pope, so I hope no one's misunderstanding that anymore. But then crying also led to hate, saying that he was too emotional, or a baby, or he couldn't handle the backlash. I don't understand this. MatPat has received hate before with things like Mario is mental, or Sonic is slow. He even got hate from the first Undertale video, but didn't speak out about it until after the second video was up. So clearly he can handle some backlash. So after all that, and he only makes one single video about it, I don't think we can call him a baby over this. Maybe he had personal stuff going on, or maybe the hate just built up. Or maybe the Pope video just gotten more hate than anything did before. I have no idea. But I do know, crying once after multiple videos receiving hate doesn't make you a baby, nor does it mean you can't handle the hate. He clearly did for quite a while. I'd rather just not judge a guy who's being open to his audience, okay? So let's just move on. Although his theories have received hate, his live streaming channel has too. The only big thing that I could find hate for was his Heartbound video. I tried to find more about it and found a Reddit post by Not Tim Hediker? I don't know if I said that right. His post explained exactly what went wrong. He claimed MatPat got the developers of Heartbound's name wrong, presented the game as a sequel to Undertale, put more Undertale hashtags than Heartbound hashtags, and didn't even link to the game. He also claimed that MatPat blamed it all on his team. So first off, getting their name wrong? I mean, it's not great, but it's not hate-worthy. And putting more hashtags of Undertale than Heartbound just makes sense for YouTube. You put tags that people who you think are interested in your video will search for. Since MatPat thought this game was similar to Undertale, it only makes sense to add Undertale hashtags. That doesn't sound bad at all. I also tried going to see the original stream, but all I could find was this edited version, and I couldn't find the original. From the edited video though, it doesn't sound like they were trying it as Undertale 2.
Yep, it's apparently supposed to be a lot like Undertale, not in like the direct storyline or anything like that, but the vibe, the general feels.
They say it has similar vibes to Undertale, and that's it. So again, not really worth hating him for. I also knew there was a Twitter thread, so I went to find it myself. In the thread, MatPat pretty much just says everything that I just said. He also only mentions his team once, and only for one thing that people were hating on him for. He also says that he trained them and takes full responsibility for him. So to act like he blamed it all on others just seems like a stretch. He also explains the link problem, saying that they don't usually link games that aren't fan-made. I mean, I kinda get it since they just pop up on Steam when you look it up, so it's not like it's that important. However, I suppose they could have linked the developer's Twitter or something, but he doesn't really give a reason for why he didn't. I just don't see the purpose in a link that much at all. So, not that big of a deal. Oh, and he did apologize for getting the name wrong. People also claim that in this thread he got called out by Toby Fox, however, I couldn't find the tweet, so I don't really know what it said. Overall, I guess you could get mad at him for a bit, but again, it's just kind of dumb too. It's not even that big of a deal, and most of the things that he gets called out for aren't even bad things. So, what else do people hate him for? The last thing I've seen people get upset at him for is targeting his video to kids. I still don't understand it. Old game theories had videos about Mario and Sonic, which are games for children, but no one saw that as targeting towards children, because people who were actually watching it were just being nostalgic, and that's why they were watching it, because they remembered these characters. And that also appears to be his reason, because he's also nostalgic for these characters. If you actually see what he's posting about, most of it is stuff that can be enjoyed by both adults and children, either because it's for children or because of nostalgia, like Mario or Sonic or Blue's Clues. But a lot of it is just anything with theory potential. YouTube series, random indie horror game, you name it. Are these targeted at children? The only thing I found that I guess you could argue is targeted towards children are the Paw Patrol videos, since adults aren't nostalgic, so it's just targeting kids. However, at best, that's a fraction of its content, and at worst, it's aimed at parents who watch it with their kids, like he does. So he's not making it for the kids, he's making it for himself, because he's the one watching the show. The only thing I guess you could say is making it less adult is that he doesn't do that anymore. But come on, it's YouTube. You can't really do that anyways. So overall, people can make mistakes or even just do things that you don't like without being a bad person. At most, you can say that MatPat has made some mistakes, but to full on dislike him or even hate him feels a bit too harsh. Especially when he's done so much good for places like St. Jude. MatPat is a good guy, and I don't think he deserves a fraction of the hate he gets. But at the end of the day, that's just it. Okay. Yeah, anyways, thank you all for watching. I'll see you later, and goodbye. Hello, it is 2 in the morning, and I gotta get this done. I was supposed to record this yesterday, which is Sunday, but I missed it. So now it's Monday, and now I'm recording it at 2 in the morning because I didn't record it yesterday. I'm a little behind on this video now, so that's disappointing, but we're gonna be fine. I just gotta finish it. This is gonna be a very annoying video to make because it's not a video game, meaning the visuals are gonna be very hard. So goodbye.